Alright, I'm making a video, rematches in MMA. I can't stand rematches in mixed martial arts. I don't think it should exist. The reason being is this is supposed to be fight sports, fighting. It's even the UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship is supposed to be about fighting. In fighting, there is no rematches. You fight and one person wins or loses. That's the way it goes. I mean, think about when you're a kid. You get in a fight, you don't go back and repeat the fight. And it's like, if you're going to have a rematch in MMA, what was the point of the first fight? The first fight has absolutely no meaning then. You're having a fight that has absolutely no meaning. We're going to have a rematch. Or even worse, they have them, these guys fight 3 times. You know, when you think of 2 fighters that fought, you should be like, oh yeah, he won. There should only be one fight. If you fought for a championship and you lost, then you don't get to fight that champion again. You lost. Do you understand me? You have to wait till somebody else is champion. That's the way it should be. Because we have to watch Uriah Faber fight and Frankie Edgar fight, you know, and come back and fight. Like, we don't even know. You can't even remember which fight was which and what was what. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and it's boring. Like, when you think of Fedor and Nogueira, they fought twice, but Fedor, you know, kicked his ass twice. But, like, what if one person had won? Like, you know, if Nogueira had submitted him, it's just, you know, it's just a waste of, it's a waste of fights. It's a waste of our time as viewers. We don't get anything from it, you know. You know, it's really stupid, man. It's really, really dumb. Like, what are the worst ones ever is, El Nino versus Josh Thompson. They fought 3 times. And it was basically like just the same fight. Like, are you serious? Like, what is the point of this? These guys are causing brain damage and punching each other. All for nothing. So, they fought, but all those fights were for nothing. Like, you know, like Wanderlei Silva and Rampage Jackson, I think they fought 3 times. I mean, they should have been 1 time, and that should have been it. Who won? When you look, who won in that fight? Wanderlei Silva. That's how it all should end. Now, I know the order of all these fights, but like, if you don't know, you know, if 2 people having a conversation that don't know MMA like real extensively, like, oh no, Rampage won. It's like, what do you mean? No, he didn't. Well, yeah, because Rampage did win a fight. Wanderlei won 2, I believe, yeah. You know, it's like, well, how many times are you going to fight? It's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. When you lose, it should be, bam, that's it, you lost. And it should be a lot riding on that fight. If you don't want to have, you know, a loss to a certain individual, then you should come prepared to fight. And man, would it make the sport more interesting. It's like, whenever I see a rematch, I'm like, oh God. And that's what's like even stinks, like, you know, like Johnny Hendricks, you know, was champion and he beat Robbie Lawler. This should have been it. This should have been it. We should have watched Johnny Hendricks fight somebody else. Now, I'm glad Lawler came back and won because I like Robbie Lawler more than I like Johnny Hendricks. But it should have been Johnny Hendricks went and fought somebody else. And if that guy lost, now Robbie Lawler, or if Johnny Hendricks lost, then Robbie Lawler comes in to fight that person. So we're seeing new fights. Instead, we had to watch the same fight twice to get to a different point that it just makes absolutely no sense to me. And I don't know even why, like, people would even want to see it. It's like, you know, it's like as a challenger, you know, you come in and, you know, like Chris Weidman comes in and does the impossible or the unthinkable, knocks out Anderson Silva, makes a fool out of the guy. Oh, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. You came in and just knocked out Anderson Silva, who hasn't lost in like, who knows how many fights, 16 fights or something. I don't even know what his win streak was. And that's not good enough. You got to come back and do it again? What the hell? What is the point in having this great moment if there's someone just going to come take it away from you? Now, Chris Weidman, of course, come back and did, you know, put a beat down on Anderson Silva, and then he broke his leg. But, I mean, it makes it clear that Weidman was going to win that fight again anyway. But, you know, it's just like, which is even more the reason that when someone loses, there's a reason that they lost. And it's not, there's no flukes. And the Anderson Silva is a perfect example. Chris Weidman knocked him out, but it wasn't a fluke. When they came back and fought again, the whole first round of that second fight, you've seen Weidman, you know, just had his number and was going to put a beat down on him. And, you know, there's no flukes. There's no flukes. So it's really unnecessary to watch the fights again. Even watching Johnny Hendricks fight Robbie Lawler twice. It was a super close fight, and when they fought again, it was a super close fight. So they should have just left it as the first fight. And then Robbie Lawler could have come back and fought whoever else again. I mean, and that's just the thing. It's totally pointless. It's completely pointless to have a rematch in MMA. It's just completely pointless. And we're being cheated as fans because we're not getting to see as many fights as we would get to see. And, you know, like Nick Diaz in KJ Noons, it's like they should have just left it the cut and just been done with it, you know. And I have to watch all this over and over, and it's just like, oh my God, give me... And the build-up, when I find out as a fan, a fight is coming up, it's months, you know, 4, 5, 6 months in advance that I have to wait for this fight. So I have to, like, you know, not only is it a waste of time watching that fight, it's like an entire waste of, like, sometimes an entire year. We're going to wait a year to watch a rematch? So basically you have to wait as a fan an entire year to watch a fight that's pointless, that has no meaning. Rematches have no meaning. It's completely pointless. And it should be done away with. That's how I feel about that. See you later.